Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bori's Storybook. My name is Bori and I'm really glad that you're here. Today I am planning to do something a little bit different. I usually read my own writing aloud, and that is mainly what I want to use this channel for. However, I am an avid reader, not just a writer. I have loved books before I was even old enough to read. So I thought I could occasionally review a book that I read. The book I want to start this series of videos with is called Purity in Death. Purity in Death is the 15th book in an over 50 book series by the author J.D Robb. I recently discovered her series on a trip to the library. I read 4 other books in the series before I picked up Purity in Death. Since the books stand pretty well on their own, you don't have to read them in order, but even though I didn't, I would recommend it so you understand all the small details the characters casually talk about. I really have been enjoying this series and I am super excited to share it with you. Before I get into the review, there is one thing I would like you to know about this book series right off the bat. These books include violent scenes as well as adult actions and topics. So if you are a parent or grandparent hunting for books for a child in your life, I would recommend giving this series a skip until they are over 18. The main character of the series is a lieutenant called Eve Dallas. She works for the New York City Police Department in a futuristic time. In the beginning of Purity in Death, Lieutenant Dallas was informed of a homicide that happened in one of the apartment buildings in the city. The victim of the crime was a man called Ralph Wooster. He was murdered by his neighbor Louis Colgbrum, a known drug dealer who targeted minors. Colgbrum also ended up dying during the encounter. Upon doing a search of Colgbrum's apartment, Lieutenant Dallas discovers a cryptic message written on the screen of the desktop computer. It reads, "Absolute purity achieved." It turns out that for a few days before his death, Colgbrum was unable to leave his house due to severe migraine-like headaches. After some additional police work, Lieutenant Dallas discovers that Colgbrum was killed by a computer virus that was modified to infect organic beings. During the course of her investigation, Lieutenant Dallas discovers that the virus was sent by a group who called themselves the Purity Seekers. The Purity Seekers are a group of like-minded people who feel like the justice system failed them and the people they love. So they decided to take it on themselves to punish all of the people they felt like the justice system was too soft on. They mainly target pedophiles and drug dealers, especially those who took advantage of minors. As they infect their targets and the deaths keep adding up, some of them innocent bystanders, Lieutenant Dallas must race against the clock to solve the case before too many more people are sentenced without ever setting foot in front of a judge. To me, Purity in Death seemed like a very enjoyable read. After I started reading it, I was able to read for hours every day. The plot was so exciting. I particularly enjoyed the character of Lieutenant Dallas. She was strong and competent, but she still had interesting flaws like her temper that made certain characters have a bad opinion of her. Another thing that I really loved about the book is a really interesting plot twist that gets revealed on the last couple of pages of the story. I like to follow the clues and try to solve the crime along with the characters when I read a book like this. And this particular plot twist had me fooled right up until they actually uncovered what happened. The only thing I really didn't enjoy about this book is the fact that a few innocent bystanders were killed as the Purity Seekers infected those they found guilty. I usually like details like that because they make the peril seem more real. And 2 out of the 3 bystander deaths were really exciting. I greatly enjoyed the chapters they were sprinkled in. However, the last death was a 16-year-old teen. While I agree it was a really interesting angle for the book to take, I found her death way too sad and emotional, and I don't like to read too many heartbreaking scenes. Overall, I found that Purity and Death is pretty much what I'm looking for when I'm looking for a book to read, and if I would have to rate it on a scale, I would give it 4.5 stars. That is pretty much all I have to say about this book. I hope you enjoyed this book review. And since Purity and Death came out all the way back in 2002, I know there's probably a fair bit of you that already read it. So if you were in that group, I would appreciate if you told me what you thought about it in the comments below. And as always, if you would like to hear more writing and book related content, please like and subscribe, and see you next time.